Fabulous Sisters. This is Dr. V, and here is the T. You know what? Often I will use the early mornings and my running or my jogging time to reflect on what has been impacting my work and my assignment. And something happened. I had an aha moment the other morning. One of those moments when God takes out a highlighter and brightens a moment to say, see, do you see my hand? I had one of those moments yesterday during a marketplace conversation with a client. And I underscore the word marketplace, not ministry, but stay with me. You'll understand why this is so significant. The client asked me to consider sharing my story with their organizational team at a time and a season when so many people are exhausted or uninspired or unmotivated. She felt like being able to understand how I continue to build my company and my joy through the entirety of everything that's going on. She asked me, would I share my story? But get this is what's important. She asked me to share the whole story. The rejection, the hurt, the racism, the marginalization, and yes, my ministry. Yep. Did you hear what I said? A marketplace secular client said, will you do an hour session with our team on your story? And I want you to include your faith. She went on to say, now, I need to be honest with you. When I pitched this idea to the team, there were people who pushed back and said, oh, I don't know about this. But I pushed back and said, we have been talking about making sure that we have diversity included in our community. And there's people in our organization that have the same faith. And we will be able to provide them with somebody who aligns with what they believe. And if they don't believe it, they can opt out. But if they opt in, they may gain an understanding of where your joy comes from. Well, while I was running, this aha moment came to me. Why is this conversation so significant? Because in 2021, I did two things where I reluctantly blended my professional knowledge and my faith together. Monthly, I provided a growth webinar and I started a radio show. But I say the word reluctantly because I remember having a conversation with God that this was not going to be a good idea, that people would stop listening, that my ratings would drop, that the radio network would probably reject this, and no one from my professional field would ever log in. And as clear as day, as I'm having this argument with him, the words dropped in my spirit. Are you ashamed of me? And it made me pause because I had to say out loud, no, Lord. And in my spirit, then trust me. So I did. Leading to this very moment on the Zoom call where the client actually said to me, I have been watching you on social media and all the other platforms that you're on, and you openly talk about your faith, and you are so proud of your faith. And I don't want you to compromise any part of your story. I want you to explain how you build your joy. So if we're talking about Tea with Dr. V, turn everything around, I would say to you, don't compromise your integrity. Replacing it with a hustle or some kind of fake humility or even deciding to shrink back, I was listening to a devotional, and the author was highlighting the story of Mary and Martha when they were with Jesus. And the author was saying, people debate a lot about Martha, the hustler, or Mary, the worshiper, when actually the one we should be taking our lead from is Jesus. There's a time that we may find ourselves that we actually need to be Mary or Martha or both. But the thing we should remain consistent in is our motive. Whether you are grinding or being patient, working hard or being still, are you clear on what is the God-honoring thing to do in that moment? When we focus on integrity, the God-honoring thing, there is no door that can remain closed to who God is calling us to be. In that moment, I had to live my who goal. I am a leader who will be a voice that reflects my values and integrity in every room I am in, regardless of how uncomfortable it may be. Will you join me? What have you been holding back on because you are afraid of being accepted, but you know it's the God-honoring thing that He's calling you to do? The other morning on my jog, I had to pause and laugh because something I was afraid of, if I had never stepped out and actually did it, that client wouldn't have a story that she wanted to share in the marketplace to help her team have a full picture of joy. My fearless sisters, turn everything around by being clear on your motive, stay true to integrity, and do the God-honoring thing that He's calling you to do, whether you are afraid or not.